Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, October 9th, 2012. We have a village board meeting followed by the committee of the whole meeting. And it looks like it's about 7:05 p.m. First is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Mrs. Booth, and how are you this fine evening? Great. Can you please call the roll, dear?
Present.
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 Present. Present.
Present. We do have a quorum. We did hear from Trustee Gattuso. He's battling a bad fever, and he's actually being checked out at the hospital as we speak, so hopefully everything will be okay. Item number 4, we don't have any presentations this evening, is that correct? Okay. Item number 5, public comments and questions. To give as many visitors as possible an opportunity to speak, and in the interest of adjourning by 9, please limit your comments to 3 minutes in length unless given further time granted by the board. We have comments and questions on active or general matters. So if anyone would like to, please step up, identify yourself for our clerk, and fire away. Anything? Okay. Item number 6, public hearings. I don't believe we have any. Item number 7, consent agendas. We have items A through K. A bunch of resolutions ratifying retirement incentive agreements for certain individuals involved in the village. Minutes of our September 11, 2012 meeting, department reports, record of bills. Does anyone want anything pulled off? Brian?
Item E, please.
I'm sorry?
E.
E. Okay. Anyone else that wanted something else pulled off? If not, is there a motion and a second to approve all the items with the exception of item E as in Edward?
So moved.
Second.
Brian?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, the second was? Frankie? Roll call, please. Kath?
Mr. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Sloan?
Aye.
Mr. Stecker?
Aye.
Mr. Yurkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Polyak?
Aye. Motion carries on those items. Is there a motion and a second to approve item number E, the resolution ratifying employer retirement incentive agreement?
Second. So moved.
So, Tom? I'm sorry, the second, was it Wally?
No,
Nick? Discussion on that? Brian?
As you guys know, when this was brought up, I was opposed. This item is, this agreement is excessive compared to the other agreements executed, and for that reason, I oppose it.
Any other comments? If not, there's a motion and a second to approve that agreement on the floor. Kathy, please call the roll.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Sloan?
Nay.
Mr. Stecker?
Aye.
Mr. Yurkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Novak?
No.
Mr. Polyak?
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 8 on the active agenda. Item number A, resolution approving agreement between the Village of Westchester and Combined Counties Police Association Clerical Westchester Chapter. Is there a motion and a second for approval?
So moved. Second.
Tom? Was that Nick?
Mm-hmm.
And Nick? Is there any further discussion on the contract? Any questions from the board? Anything? So motion and a second on the floor for approval of the contract with the CCPA and the clerical. Kathy, please call the roll.
Mr. Sloan?
Aye.
Mr. Stecker?
Aye.
Mr. Yurkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Polyak?
Aye, motion carries as well. Item number B, resolution authorizing request to the Illinois Department of Revenue for implementation of our non-home rule sales tax, municipal retailers occupation and service occupation taxes on January 1, 2013. Is there a motion and a second for that approval?
So moved. Second.
Second.
I'm sorry, give it to Wally.
Who was the first?
Nick.
Nick
And then myself.
and Wally. Is there any additional discussion needed on that resolution? Wally?
Yeah, just a quick, Is this just a, not a formality, but a process of getting it to the agenda? Is that what we're?
The Department of Revenue required us to make an application to them and to make certain presentation of attachments, just so everyone knows. The attachments, I don't believe were included in your packet, but the manager has a full set of those.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, and I just wanted to double check.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, oh, Brian, yes, sir.
This letter is written, provides an indemnification to the state for any actions against them on behalf of the village. As these were, this exercise is a result of actions by the village attorney. Do we have an indemnification from the village attorney protecting the village for any of those costs?
No, you don't have an indemnification. I believe you have a claim that there's still a statute of limitations that has not run out on that. So I believe this action by the revenue approving this tax would take place within that time period. So
It's my understanding that without the passage of this resolution, that regardless of what happens in the election of the referendum, if it does so pass, that we would be unable to collect anything until July of 13, is that not?
without this, yes.
Without this. Correct. Okay, are there any other questions? If not, there's a motion and a second approval on the floor. Kathy, please call the roll.
Mr. Stecker?
Aye.
Mr. Lukich?
Aye.
Mr. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Sloan?
Nay.
Mr. Fulia?
Aye, motion carries as well. Item number C, resolution authorizing the execution of a professional engineering service agreement with Chris Burke, our village engineer, related to the compliance with the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Phase 2 regulations. Is there a motion and a second for that approval?
So moved. Second.
Tom and Nick, any discussion on that as well? Seeing none, Kathy, please call the roll.
Mr. Lukich?
Aye.
Mr. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
Mr. Sloan?
Aye.
Mr. Stecker?
Aye.
Mr. Fulia?
Aye, motion carries as well. Item number 9, manager's report. Janet, any report?
Sure, just a couple of things to note. First off, I'd like to congratulate Melissa Headley, our Community Development Director, for successfully completing the Chicago Marathon on Sunday and making it to work on
And her
Monday.
husband as well.
And her husband as well. She actually beat him by a short period of time, she told us. So,
She tripped him early on, she told me.
yeah. So congratulations to Melissa. This is her third Chicago Marathon, so that's great. So I'm sure she will be signing up to run in our Veterans Day run that it will be held on Veterans Day.
She's running backwards, though.
Oh, we should make her. If she can do the marathon, she could do this backwards.
do the 10K.
She's going to race Ann, but Melissa will be running backwards. So anybody wishing to sign up for the Veterans Day Run, which will be held on Sunday, November 11th, starting at 9 a.m., can go to www.signmeup.com/86885 to register. Also wanted to just mention that today was the last day to register to do voters registration here at the Village Hall. We do have mail ballots if you want to come in and get one of those. However, we are not a location for early voting. You can obtain the locations for early voting on the David Orr's website. One final note, on Saturday, Sunday, October 13th and 14th, there will be a charity pumpkin sale at Gobbard Real Living. If you bring in 2 food items, you'll get $1 off a pumpkin, and all the proceeds will go to the Westchester Food Pantry.
And I think we'll have the flyers posted in the Village Hall. And
Right.
I did give Frank one for his businesses as well, and we'll get one out by Paulie's as well. This is a partnership with Gober in the Village. The proceeds are going to the food pantry, and we're going to assist them in any way we can in making it a success for our people that will benefit from this. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for tonight.
Attorney's report, Mr. Attorney.
I see on the agenda, there's an executive session for litigation. If you recall, at the last board meeting and in executive session, we discussed some pending litigation regarding an eminent domain action. I received a call from that attorney this evening that she would not be able to attend, but she brought me up to speed, I think enough to impart to you what she's looking to accomplish in tonight's executive session. And I do have a phone number that if we need to call her from there, we can get a hold of her. But she's not going to be able to attend tonight, but we can handle that in executive session. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members report, economic development, Frankie.
October 15th, which is this upcoming Monday, the EDC will be having a nighttime meeting at 7 o'clock in regards to the continuing planning of a multi-board summit meeting, discussing 3 initiatives: Pride Campaign, business retention, and strengthening relationships in the village. And we also went over bylaws, which we'll be talking about in the cow.
Great. Nikki, I know you had something scheduled for an ETSB, and
Yeah, we're gonna be moving forward with the sign located over on Mannheim in the village municipal lot. It's gonna be, we've talked about how you can't really read the sign, and we've had some problems with the scrolling signs. And it's outlived its projected time. So we're gonna be upgrading to a full-colored sign. It's gonna be visible on both sides, and we are gonna be raising it, raising the bricks, I believe 4 feet. So it'll be visible over the red light finally, and then you can actually see and read what's on the sign. So I have a picture here if anybody's interested in just kind of seeing. It's just kind of a generic picture right now, but I could forward it to everybody as well. And then, but that's going to be moving forward. And then we're looking at then getting the signs completed for the fire department as well, for the front of both stations.
and as I understand it, as we do put emergency information on those signs, and you know, try to impart knowledge to our residents of upcoming events and things of that nature, that this is an allowable expenditure out of the emergency
ETSB.
telephone system board fund, which certainly you'll be having a meeting and gather quotes in regards to that and make some decisions and pass that on to this board. Is that correct?
Correct. I gave Greg some quotes today as well. And then additionally, there was 2 signs for the welcoming the Dunkin' Donuts into town that could be placed on the Dunkin' Donuts as early as tomorrow. This is something that we've been talking about for a while, where, you know, trying to just kind of let the residents know they see things being constructed, but they're wondering what's going on. Just kind of let them know. Also, it may spur other possible tenants in areas if they see, oh, there's possibly going to be a Dunkin' Donuts, increase in traffic, that they may be interested in filling up some of the vacant space that we have in town. So those should be up tomorrow.
And at the chamber meeting today, I did mention to the chamber board, their discussions surfaced on bylaws and directors and things of that nature. But when we had our time to speak, we did mention that we're partners with certainly the Chamber of Commerce and the business community, and certainly the small amount of money that these signs have costed to put up there will certainly be a value down the road, letting the people know what's there. So
I did put a call into Bruce Horick to see if they would like to, as you said in the meeting today, to maybe partner up with this for future businesses. I haven't heard back from, but I will report back once I do speak with them.
Tommy, anything from camp?
Our next meeting's tomorrow at 7 in the community room. Other than that, I got nothing right now.
And I don't know if you got the email as well, but Miss Santango, I believe her son and husband may have also ran in the marathon as well.
Oh, I did receive that email this morning, yes. I
So
did.
we have a
Remember
few
reading.
Westchester people that wanted to run 26 miles for whatever reason, so it's a good
Yeah.
thing as well. Wally, Green Committee, you have a couple events coming up, sir?
Yes, we do. We have the, sorry, I'm fighting a cold, so it's a little hard to talk. I'll make this quick. Saturday, October 13th, from 9 to 12 is our last e-recycling for the season. We're gonna go on hiatus until April. We also have a shredding event from the same time, shredding documents, and it's the two events that we have happening. So everybody, get your electronics in, your documents in, and we'll see you on Saturday the 13th, 9 to 12.
Also, following on that, I had a conversation today with the village of Naperville. Naperville is an EPA site for hazardous waste out there by their fire department. Their collection schedule is 9 to 2 on Saturday. I'll be taking the remaining old gasoline and things of that nature and oil-based products to that hopefully on Saturday before 2 o'clock. I've also was surprised that they do take the fluorescent bulbs. I asked the lady specifically about the 4-foot bulbs similar to what's in our lights above us, and she said that they do take fluorescent bulbs as well. So oil-based paints, things of that nature, more chemical. Nobody wants latex. They want you to dry it out, throw kitty litter, and have a nice day with it. I reached out to another company up in Grays Lake, but they haven't gotten back to me about latex paint. I still have a problem with dumping latex paint in the garbage. I think all of a sudden you'll see 6 years from now that that's some type of problematic dumping, and my opinion is that it should be recycled as well in some way, shape, or form.
Mr. Mayor, just to make sure that we're clear that you are going to take what's remaining out there, and
Yeah.
then this Saturday is not for people to bring. I just want to make
No,
sure that's clear.
if somebody brought something and it was hazardous, I'd take it with the rest of it, but,
Don't
you
get in
know.
an accident on the way. You have to placard your van.
No, I'm,
You know,
no, we'll just,
things up.
we'll load it up.
Yeah. That may help it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't pack it floor to ceiling, but I could put enough stuff on there, and they do it 9 to 2, so if it's not this weekend, it'll be the next weekend, so we can get rid of that stuff as well. There's some back there that I'd like to get rid of as well. B, anything for the order, sir?
No, well, as you guys know, we got the leaf bags out in record time this year, and the scouts that were out with me on Saturday reminded me that the food drive that they're going to be working on coming up next month. I think it's the second and third weekend in November. So we'll do the flyers and then the pickup.
Yeah, and that's a good thing as well. I know I did get an email from Kathy, apparently the primary school, and Kath, maybe you can shed some light. I don't know if it's across all the primary, intermediate, or whatever that's collected.
The primary, they're doing a food drive and donating everything to the food pantry here, and it's starting now till Thursday.
Okay, so you'll be the point of contact with Mrs. Lappy, and we'll figure out that as well. Okay, President report. A couple of things. I know we attended the West Central Municipal Conference meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we talked a little bit about the water rate increases. As you know, we have another 15% coming from the city of Chicago as well. The WCMC is working with the city of Chicago to try to at least eliminate one of those years, but I have to be pretty honest with you, it doesn't appear to be going anywhere in fruition. You all received a
Sam, on that point, have we gotten any communication from the water agency as far as where the rates are going to be going for us?
not as yet. We'll be deciding that in the next meeting or so,
Okay.
Brian. But you did all receive the copy of the report from Mr. Powers from the water powers in the city of Chicago, no pun intended, of what they're looking to do with the changing of the steam to electric heat and the pump stations and some of the replacement of pipes and roofs and things of that nature. I certainly, at the WCMC, indicated my displeasure with that and asked why we can't be part of that and get our roof fixed as well. If, we're paying for that roof. The city of Chicago has a voluntary program of meters in place. I think they've done about 4,000. I don't know if that's something that they thought they were gonna get more of or whatever. But I certainly have a problem with, all of our meters, or all of our businesses and residences are metered, so they're collecting drops. And in the city of Chicago, there are places out there that, fire hydrants that are open in the summer. There are fountains and things of that nature that there's not a collection piece in there, that it runs 10, 12 hours straight. And, who's paying for that? I'm still trying to find out what the city of Chicago charges their residents. As, they charge our water agency a fee, and then that fee is added to by what the municipal need is to fix our pipes and do our things that we have to do with the waters and things of that nature. So I'm very disappointed about the water piece as well. I think that we're paying for a lot of things in the city of Chicago that I don't think that we should be paying for. I think he's got his budget and the needs of the city, and I certainly have a problem with that. I attended the mayor's meeting the other day, and Ram spoke there as well and talked about the pensions. And one of the things that he's pushing very hard in Springfield is to make sure that the school district's pensions are placed on the taxpayers of the suburban people for their school districts. Apparently, he sees an inequity that the city of Chicago pays twice, once in their property taxes and once with the sales tax that goes into the pensions. He sees that as one of the high priority issues coming in January, of course, after the election. So apparently the state guys don't want to tackle it now, they want to push it off. So those are the things. He indicated to me personally that in 2016, that based on the pension obligations, it's almost the whole budget of their police department. And that if there is not pension relief in Springfield that assists the city of Chicago, that there certainly will be some repercussions on or around 2016. Another meeting I attended was the MWRD meeting, and they talked about rules and regulations on communities such as Westchester that have two sets of pipes, one storm sewer and one sanitary sewer. There's about 125 entities that feed into the MWRD, and also townships as well. And they couldn't give a firm number, but safe to say at least 55 to 60 of them have combined systems, which basically, and this includes the city of Chicago as a combined system, have no real regulations as far as inflow and infiltration, which MWRD is certainly trying to curtail to the best of their abilities. Towns like Westchester, towns like Hillside that have separate systems, we have two sets of pipes to maintain. We've done our smoke testing. We've done the cross-connection locations that we've eradicated those, thanks to certainly John Feccarata. And there seems to be no, I don't want to say punishment, but no rules and regulations or nothing in the thought process of a town that has a combined system. What are they doing to try to keep I&I out? Because they have 100% I&I. They only have one pipe. So they're thinking about regulations, they're thinking about penalties, they're thinking about, certain things that are only going to affect towns like ours that have a separate, or have two separate sewer systems. I certainly took exception to that. I told them that I thought that towns like ours were being penalized, and if you're gonna let the city of Chicago, which probably dumps more I&I because they only have one set of pipes, in the MWRD, that you collect more than any of our I&I based on our separate systems. So I wasn't very happy. I even told a lady, I says, since we're being penalized, we should probably just brick our things up and just have one sewer like everybody else. And she promptly told me that the Attorney General would probably have a problem with that if I did that. It wasn't a threat, it was just a comment that, hey, wait a minute, why are we being potentially penalized in the future with I&I when towns that have combined systems, nobody's looking at them, nobody's addressing them, and it's just like, okay, we know it, there's nothing we can do about it. You know, maybe we should look at those communities and try to figure out how to separate that water. I don't know. But it seems to me that because we were ahead of the curve and we have two separate systems that, you know, some regulations are gonna come down, and there were even regulations in the past that required us to do something, and monitoring, and nobody's monitoring anything of that. So kind of a disappointing week.
Sam, I got a question.
Certainly.
Just on that, is it the Village of Westchester that decided to go to a two-system, a storm, and it's two separate pipe system, or was it mandated by?
You know, Wally, I
don't know.
I don't have an answer to you. I know that as far as anyone can remember, we've always had a separate system. The stormwater collects and goes to Addison Creek or Salt Creek. The sanitary goes right down to MWRD and treated and disinfected or whatever they do, and they, you know, they put it back in the
Well,
river.
I share your sentiment on that. I think we've done a lot. We've probably done much more than most communities have. And to sit there and do the things that we do and invest in our community and to do the proper things, and then to be handed, and I know it's talked about now. I know there's nothing in there. But to be penalized for certain things, it's very frustrating and very unfair. And yeah, I agree. You know, it's like, okay, well, just block one up, hook it up, and let the Attorney General come in. Oh, fine. Have him
Yeah.
buy a house here and use our sewer and see what he likes.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
It's frustrating.
and I'm sure the comment back to me was because that when there's basement backup, there's bacteria, et cetera, and sickness. I get that. My comment was just to put a thought about the inequity. I wanted it on record. Some of the other communities, like Tinley Park, mentioned it, but didn't go into the disappointment. As you've said, we've done smoke testing. We've done lining in the High Ridge area. We have two potential basins out there that we're fixing right now. We just fixed a pipe on Suffolk. We did one on Portsmouth, 20 and 30 feet of piping that we put in the sanitary. So the lining project that's in the north of Canterbury, south of Roosevelt Road, can go forward where the lining will do some good. You know, there are some collapsings that the lining won't help. We have to do the repairs. We're doing those in-house as well. Those are positive things. We've done flow monitoring testing in a couple of the basins as well. We've had an engineering firm give us information. I mean, they're looking for towns to come up with a plan. I mean, we have our plan already together. We just have to probably combine all the information, and we would be fine in as much as what we've done as a community. They were talking about laterals and things of that nature. But again, that's great for the, you know, the maybe 50 towns that have a separated sewer. But what about the other 70 that are just saying, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to do anything to it. I don't have to smoke test. I mean, it makes no sense to cut your gutters off. It's just gonna run into the grass and run into the street and go back in the same sewer that it is. So, I see an inequity there, and I just wanna let you know that on behalf of us, I put my 2 cents in there that I thought that, we were being unfairly, not only us, but the separate systems were being unfairly looked at when nothing's gonna be done with the other ones. So, pretty much all I have on that. There's an executive session. I guess we can do that after the cow for the purpose of litigation, personnel matters, and real estate acquisition. If there's anything else on the board level? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. Slipping today. Miss April, any reports?
Currently, it appears that the union that represents the police department, patrol division, and sergeants is doing a telemarketing campaign looking to raise funds for the union. We've been bombarded with inquiries from the public, and we have put on our webpage a statement informing the public of what is going on, but basically it reads, in response to recent inquiries, the Westchester Police Department is advising residents and area businesses that the Westchester Police Department does not solicit funds from residents by phone. Currently, a telemarketing campaign is being conducted by the Metropolitan Alliance of Police, MAP Union, which represents both the patrol and sergeants unions. However, Westchester police officers are not making these telephone solicitations, and there's contact information, as you can see on the TV screens, to contact the MAP Union either by phone or email. Also, I'd like to announce, it was also in the village newsletter, that the week of October 21st through the 27th is Red Ribbon Week. Red Ribbon, for those of you that don't know, has been going on for several years. It's celebrated throughout our grade schools, and we'd like to continue it into the community. But basically, it's taking a stand against drugs and drug abuse and illegal drug smuggling. A DEA agent, Kiki Camarera, was brutally tortured many years ago, and this is being done in his honor and remembrance. Starting October 15th, the Westchester Police Department will have a limited amount of free red ribbons to be given to residents if they so desire. They can come into the station, pick one up. Again, I stress it is a limited amount, and it will be after October 15th, but we ask all residents and business community to show their support and display red ribbons during that week.
Thank you, Chief. Jimmy?
We held our open house last Sunday, October 7th. It was a big success. The weather was good, a little chilly but sunny. We had a good turnout. Along with our burn demonstration and the things for the kids and the truck rides, our International Association of Firefighters, Local 4851, actually had donated and served hot dogs, chips, and juice boxes and soda, which was also a big hit this year. So their continued support is greatly appreciated. Also, unfortunately, we didn't have the materials in our hands in time to roll it out for the big open house, but I had put each one of you has a sample of the file of life that the Westchester Fire Department's rolling out. This is a program that enables our medics to obtain quick medical history when a patient is able to offer one. Cuts down on us trying to find information to provide appropriate treatment to these individuals. It hangs on their refrigerator. This program was actually called Vial of Life years ago, where they would have a pill bottle. They'd write their information on the form, put it in the pill bottle, put it in the fridge. The problem with it was through condensation and everything that the form would get messed up, so you couldn't see it, so they've kind of revamped it and made it the File of Life. Hangs on the refrigerator with emergency contact, medical information, things of that nature. And then we encourage the residents who put the File of Life sticker on their front door. That way, as we pull up, we know where we can look to the fridge and hopefully have as current information as possible. Of course, we'd encourage every 6 months to a year to update people's information. And then this, in cooperation with our Knoxbox program, which is a program where residents can purchase a Knoxbox for $225, which the fire department or the village makes nothing from that. It just, you have to apply to get this Knoxbox through the fire department due to the security behind it, where only the fire department has the key to it. And the residents can hang it over their door. And again, there's a little red reflective sticker on the door, so the fire department knows to look for it when we pull up on a house. and the resident can't answer the door, so we can get in without making any damage. So, again, we're rolling out this File of Life program, and we're going to be trying to hand them out on calls that aren't an emergent nature, where we can talk with the resident and explain it. Plus, we'll have them at the firehouse for any residents. Also, if anybody in the audience would like any tonight, I have a few with me, and there's no cost to the residents whatsoever for this program as well. So,
Jim, do we have enough of these that we could get some in the front Village Hall as well?
yeah, our initial order has 1,000 of them, so that should give us a real good start. And if it takes off real quick, I have money set aside to purchase more. So,
On the Knox box, is it any time you can come into the, is there a certain time you have to go to the fire department, or could you come in any time?
you can come in any time. Usually during business hours is your best bet, and of course, if there's no fire trucks in the firehouse, nobody's going to be home. So,
Right.
but I would say call before you come, and fill out an application, write the check right to the Knox Box Company. We send it in. The box is actually delivered. It's actually a mini safe. Is actually delivered to the firehouse, and we'll come out and hang it wherever the resident would like it. So,
Between 6 and 8 or something, to call ahead of time. But
I would say call ahead of time just to make sure we're not out on a call.
all right.
Wally, I think we had those applications on the counter as well, and actually the sample of the Knox box that
Yeah, we do
that
in the
hangs
front
over-
office.
hangs over the door. It's in the front
Right.
office as well. So
Right.
I think what we need to do in our next newsletter, Jim, if you wouldn't mind profiling these two things
Sure.
one more time and whatever, then we could make the collection during business hours, and
Sure.
And certainly tell them the parameters. Maybe you can write a cover letter of
Sure.
what it is, what the cost is. That'll be mailed here as soon as we get it. We'll bring
Right.
it to you, and
And that's, like I said, just purely security, just because,
Yeah.
again, we have the only key to operate the safe, so.
both give good programs, Jim. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Miss Annie, how are you?
Quick report from the finance department this week. We did receive word from the village auditors that a draft of our 2012 audited financial statements will be available this week. And then after our review of the draft, the auditors will move forward and issue the final 2012 CAFR.
Thank you. Gregory,
Well, I wasn't going to bring up the drug box.
I'm
but-
going to let you report it.
Well,
since you've
I wasn't
done
going to
it.
bring it up, but we did do our drug drop-off last Sunday, and didn't think much of it at first until I received an email that was a press release from the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, and they were making a statement that they brought in and collected 250 pounds of drugs for that latest collection. And the mayor emails me this, and I could just see the chuckle in his face when he emailed me that, and I remembered what we collected, which was 400 pounds as a municipality compared to the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District trying to do it for the entire area of Cook County. So we did a little bit more than they did.
And the other thing is, what we do differently, because our bin is 24/7. I mean, we actually take the pills out of the vials and the cardboard.
Recycle.
The ones that are sealed in there, certainly we don't, but we recycle the pill containers and the cardboard that they come in, where I'm sure at MWRD, if it was anything like the collection at Oak Lawn where Greg and I were at, that they just boxed them up, weighed it, and said, have a nice day.
Well, we were one of the first people to get there. We got there kind of early, and one of the neighboring towns of Oak Lawn, his officer came up and had a shoebox as they were presenting their pills, and here we are unloading an entire van. So I wouldn't worry about any paint in your van with all of what we had in there. But
We're lucky
yeah,
we didn't get arrested for transportation of a controlled substance, right?
no, as I said, I'll never talk about that again until our next collection, so we're done with that. This is just a general reminder, not only to the staff as well as trustees who have village email accounts, but as well to the residents of Westchester, actually people anywhere. Be very careful when you're opening your email. There are viruses that are going on that are being sent through an email. Sometimes they're even being sent well, first off, they're being sent with attachments, but more importantly, they're being sent from somebody's account that you may recognize. So if you don't recognize where they're trying to send you, be very leery about going there. And why it's coming up now is, if anyone's read the paper today, Naperville had a very severe issue where people were trying to get into their system and did make it into their web page. They had to close their web page down, and at this point, it's going to be down indefinitely, and they're going to be shutting their email down indefinitely as well. And I think we all know how much we rely upon email for communication here. But one of the ways intruders, if you will, can get into our system is through an email, whether it be a true attachment that they send pretending to be somebody else or somebody that you may recognize. So again, if you don't know where somebody's trying to take you, be very careful before you click on it. Try to look at where they're looking to take you. If they're trying to take you to a greeting card website, be leery. I don't think anybody here is going to be sending greeting cards, e-cards. And obviously, if you have any questions about any emails you receive, just forward them to me. I can take a look at them. There's some things I can do before you would even click on a link. You know, obviously, if it's something personal, just call me, and I can walk you through doing it yourself. So just a little piece of advice. Also, I'll be working with Public Works in the very near future, probably within the next week or so. We're hoping all their equipment will be in to do the narrow banding that's required prior to the end of the year. So a new base station as well as new radios in the trucks to comply with the FCC requirements. Finally, and I don't believe anybody's announced this, but the police department family gained 2 on October 2nd. Eric Lococo's wife, Nikki, had twins. Rocco and Genevieve were born at Mia?
Mia.
Then why was it? Okay. I'm sorry, Mia Genevieve is Genevieve's middle name, sorry. Mia Genevieve, born at 9 in the morning on October 2nd. So we congratulate him, and I'm sure he's going to have some sleepless nights.
Thank you. Greg. Dave, information. Public Works.
The Department of Public Works is nearly completed with removal and replacement of trip hazard public sidewalks. Also, we've been working on sanitary sewer point repairs, pavement restoration from in-house utility repairs. We've also identified 180 ash trees for removal. 110 of those will be removed by village forces, 70 by our tree contractor. The tooth improvement program, which includes rehabilitation of 5 public streets, Evers, Downing, Carlisle, Bedford, and Westminster, is ahead of schedule. The contractor has completed curb removal and replacement, including driveway aprons on one side of every street so far, and they'll be switching to do the other side now later this week. Their plan is to be doing pavement removal towards the end of next week, with paving beginning the week of October 22nd. So that program is ahead of schedule and moving very well.
Great. Dave, about how many trip hazards? I know they're all over town, and I think what we were looking at is to have a plan of attack and you know, target certain areas, similar to the stop sign for the reflectability laws that are of course an unfunded mandate, but something that we have to do as well. We did about how many trip hazards in-house? Do you recall?
We've so far completed about 69 squares. We've got about 20 to go.
Okay, so that's quite a few to affect the liability of the village in that you know, that's a good thing. So great, thank you. Melissa, can't run away.
Can you all hear me? I just wanted to let everybody know that both the Duncan at 31st and Wolf and the one at Mannheim, the operator has submitted 2 special use requests for the drive-through signage. And so there will probably be a special meeting of the Plan Commission to hear those requests in early November. Last week I attended the ICSC convention and met with various companies that are looking to expand in the Chicago region. I'll be following up with those people in the next few weeks to see if there are sites that meet their needs. I've been reviewing the permitting process and looking for opportunities to make the process more efficient and streamlined. I started having regular permit review meetings with my staff to go over the status of permits that are in for review and other projects. Right now we're looking at our checklist and information that's given to applicants to make sure that we're making the process as easy as possible and letting people know up front what they need to do to come in and apply for permits. I have a meeting set up with CMAP to go over the comp plan status and the next steps. Also, meeting with staff to go over the zoning code update, what the status is there, and what our next steps are. I got to go on a tour of the executive suites this afternoon at the tower, at the executive tower, or the corporate towers.
Westbrook Corporate.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I've been reviewing information on our building permitting software to see what functionality it has and what we can use it for now. And I've been preparing information to update the community development website.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you. Kathy, anything? Nothing. Mr. Feccarata is the guest of this evening, former Public Works Superintendent. Do you have a report for us this evening? I see you have your lovely wife Karen with you.
Oh, that one.
Would you please step up to the microphone because we can't hear you, sir?
State your name, rank, and serial number, please.
We could bring him a mic.
Oh no, let him.
No, he's gotta come
He's
up.
got to come up.
No.
Hello.
Novak asked a question about the sanitary sewer. The single systems, when it was brought in back in the 20s. And the reason why is we had single systems because they could sell the property. They can sell the property a lot easier if you had two systems. So that's how come it was brought in. They could have brought it all into one. But at the time, they said, let's bring two systems in. We can sell that piece of parcel for X amount of dollars. They were getting more money for their parcels than Broadview, Maywood, Bellwood, all those surrounding towns. That was the answer.
Oh, thank you, John.
But it sounded pretty good. Got to meet your director, Mr. Dave. You know, that's about it, guys.
Are you enjoying your retirement, sir?
Oh, let me tell you. Yes, we are. My wife and I are, we're enjoying it. I didn't think I would. Everybody kept saying, no, 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 but yeah. I'm
Man.
enjoying it. I wish Dave a lot of luck. Yes, I do. And that's about it, guys. I do wish you luck, Dave.
Well, we certainly.
I wanted to strangle, but you know what I mean? That's about it, guys. Have fun. Wife and I are going out for dessert now.
All right. Thank you, John,
Right,
for
John.
being here,
Thanks.
and thank you for all the loyal service to the village, my friend. All right.
Yeah, your wife's.
I think we covered all the bases. Is there a motion, a second, to adjourn our meeting for this evening?
So moved.
Second.
Tommy, and who was the second? Was it Wally?
Wally.
Wally. All those in favor of adjourning our board
Aye.
meeting, say aye. Any opposition, say no.